Toulouse, France. This is where the final assembly takes place. In only 4 weeks, this aircraft is assembled from over 4 million individual parts and over 300 miles of cable. Richard Carquier is the company's head of strategic marketing and has closely followed the airplane's development.
At the end of the 90s, air passenger volume rose so drastically that the largest plane to date, the Boeing 747, was no longer big enough. Airbus was still a very young company at the time and wanted to expand in the sector in which Boeing had had a monopoly for 30 years.
It took just about 5 years and $12 billion to design and build this mega plane. The engineers were confronted with serious challenges.
State-of-the-art technology was necessary in every aspect. Aerodynamics, materials for reducing the aircraft's mass, and the engine, designed to consume 15 to 20% less fuel per seat compared to the 747.
To meet these needs, the engineers chose a form that was entirely new. Contrast to its predecessors, it has 3 decks that stretch over the entire fuselage. This makes the airplane more streamlined and thus more aerodynamic. But the truly revolutionary thing is the lightweight construction. For the first time, glare was used, a laminate composed of aluminum and glass fiber. As a result of using new materials like this, even when empty, the plane weighs about 16.5 tons less than a comparable traditional airplane. A true marvel of modern aviation, the Airbus 380. Weighing more than 600 tons, it's the biggest and heaviest passenger airplane in the world. On this flight from Germany to Hong Kong, the giant has almost reached its destination. The captain and his crew are preparing for the approach.
The A380 actually lands very nicely. We have to pay attention to the mass, of course. The mass is so great that we must do everything a bit earlier to make up for inertia.
During landing, what's known as the brake-to-vacate system is used. First employed in the A380, it calculates the optimal braking distance, automatically activates the brakes at a predetermined point on the runway. The landing itself still remains the job of the pilot.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, retard, retard.
After 11 hours in the world's biggest aircraft, the 508 passengers have reached their destination. For pilot Joachim, another successful trip.
This plane was amazing. I would pet it if I could.
The crew will rest for 2 days, but in 7 hours, this mega plane will take its next 508 passengers